The Reds held talks for Purshores. Liverpool are still interested in signing Turin defender Purshores and appear to be in talks on a potential move. Preparations are underway at Anfield ahead of the 2023-2024 Premier League campaign, and two new midfielders have been brought in for Jürgen Klopp. Deals for Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai have been finalised, with the duo signing contracts from Brighton and Leipzig respectively at a cost of £96 million. However, the number of midfielders leaving Merseyside is more than arriving. James Milner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita left on free transfers when their contracts expired, and Jordan Henderson has now joined Steven Gerrard's team in Saudi Arabia. Alongside Lavia in the spotlight, the Reds and sporting director Jürgen also seem to have their eyes focused on signing a new defender before September 1st. Scholes has been associated with his move to Merseyside, and speculation first surfaced in 2020. The player is reportedly happy to join the Reds, with more news emerging in the past 48 hours. Italian sources gave an update on Scholes. It has been reported that Liverpool and Crystal Palace are the most serious clubs interested in the young defender. However, talks froze due to Turin asking for €14 million, implying that talks are being held between the Italian side and those at Anfield. The two Premier League sides are not planning to give up on a potential deal. But Klopp identified Scholes to possibly play alongside his compatriot Virgil van Dijk. Scholes is 23 years old and a defender sponsored by Nike. He started his career at Fortuna Sittard's academy before transferring to Ajax in 2018. Scholes made 95 senior appearances for the Eredivisie Giants before signing for Turin last summer. Since then, the defender has regularly featured in Italy. He performed 33 times during the previous campaign and averaged more tackles and clears per 90 minutes than any of his teammates, according to Who Scored. Journalist Josh Bunting described Scholes as a mountain last year, and he appears to be at the peak of his powers, with a career-high €25 million transfermarkt valuation. Klopp currently has 5 top defenders to choose from in Van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip and Nathaniel Phillips, but 2 of the 5 are linked to an exit. As such, Scholes could be seen as a solid backup if 1 or 2 centre-backs leave Merseyside in the coming weeks. Also, Joel Matip's contract will expire in 2024 and no further extension is expected. On the other hand, Konate's injury problems last season require a definite boost to Liverpool. It looks like Scholes could be a deal to consider in the coming weeks. The young defender could partner with Konate in the coming years and serve Liverpool for many years. Fabrizio Romano announces the hot development in Liverpool. Fabrizio Romano posted an update on Fabinho's possible departure from Liverpool this morning, confirming that his transfer to Al Ittihad is about to take place. While the 29-year-old's transfer to the Saudi Pro League faced some delays earlier this week, it looks like the transaction may be very close to completion. Italian journalist, Al Ittihad and Liverpool are very close to Fabinho deal. A deal on the verge of completion. Liverpool are still cautious as documents need to be checked, but confirmation will come very soon. Fabinho will get a medical check soon if everything goes as planned. The player is on a 3-year deal, he said. When it was learned that the Brazilian midfielder would not be travelling to Singapore with the Liverpool team for the next phase of his pre-season preparations, the lingering hopes of the Saudi signing collapse seemed to be over. The bureaucratic halt to the transfer earlier this week may have led some Reds fans to believe it could collapse. But Romano's latest update shows that it's not a question of whether Fabinho will debut, but when. The 29-year-old player will leave a significant gap in the Reds' midfield when he leaves. But efforts to fill this gap continue unabated with the continued pursuit of Romeo Lavia. Hampshire Live reporter Mark Wyatt hints that the Belgian's transfer could be finalised within the next 7 days. If both transfers discussed are completed soon, it will at least ensure that Liverpool bring in a defensive midfielder immediately, even if the Southampton young player lacks the experience his Brazilian counterpart can boast of. Still, with Wyatt waxing lyrical on the consistency of Saint's genius, the blow of losing Fabinho will have been softened considerably if Lavia is caught immediately. Fabinho had great success with the Reds under Klopp. He played a key role in winning the Premier League Championship and the Champions League Cup. However, his performance last season was beyond recognition and was one of the reasons for major problems in Liverpool's midfield. As the Brazilian star is approaching 30, it seems quite logical to make money from him. Jürgen Klopp's starting lineup against Chelsea in the opening game of the season is shaping up. It was clear this year would be a transformative summer for Jürgen Klopp's Liverpool side. After a brutal period of consistency and success, it's perhaps understandable that standards will eventually fall. And that fear certainly came true in 2022-2023 as the Reds missed any silver items and more importantly a spot in the Premier League's top four. Liverpool had to settle for the Europa League instead and realised that changes had to be seen. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, James Milner, Naby Keita and Roberto Firmino were expected to leave, but Jordan Henderson certainly wasn't. He took the riches offered in Saudi Arabia, left a gap in midfield and a new captain is needed at Anfield. There have been some newcomers in the form of Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai, and more are expected before they make their way to Chelsea on the 13th of August. Between now and then, it's clear what kind of squad Klopp intends to play against Chelsea if all goes as planned. Of course, Alisson Becker will take charge of the castle. While his Liverpool teammates floundered last season, Alisson stood taller than ever and was a major reason why a fifth-place finish was still possible. Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson will take part in the defence. Trent Alexander-Arnold did well in the second half of last season, adopting a hybrid role that saw him settle into midfield. This role is expected to continue. Andy Robertson remains a consistent figure on the opposite flank, and Virgil van Dijk is sure to become the club's new captain. Their levels have dropped in recent months, but the added responsibility of the armband could bring the Dutchman back to his unbeatable best. Liverpool are placing great emphasis on Konate this season and there are hopes it could be a real breakthrough season for the 24-year-old. Mac Allister, Lavia and Szoboszlai are expected to take charge in the midfield. Mac Allister and Szoboszlai will be tasked with providing offensive momentum from the middle of the park and allowing Liverpool's midfield to contribute more to the goal. Romeo Lavia will be the centre at the bottom of the midfield. If Klopp gets what he wants, the Southampton star will take the stage in his first game of the season. The Belgian player could cost close to £50 million, but there is hope that a deal can be completed quickly. He's even so fast he can take a pre-season tour of Singapore. Being 19 years old raises concerns about the veteran Fabinho's ability to do what he used to do. But having Alexander-Arnold on his side should help a little in that regard. Luis Diaz, Gakpo and Salah will take charge on the forward line. While the midfield is full of new signings, Klopp already has plenty of options for his forward line. Mohamed Salah remains the club's focal point, talisman and most important player. Cody Gakpo has signalled that he can fill the role that Firmino left vacant. On the left, Luis Diaz's place is almost guaranteed. He was absent last year due to injury and there is hope that if he can stay in shape, the Sadio Mane vacancy can be well and truly filled. Liverpool's ideal 11 against Chelsea is as follows: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Mac Allister, Lavia, Szoboszlai, Salah, Gakpo, Diaz.